We be live. Hello, everyone. Make sure you like the stream right at the beginning of the show so that more people end up coming here. My name is Armin Navabi. This is the Atheist Republic. We are going to be reviewing some videos that a lot of you need to see, but we're also going to analyze them in a way that they don't do in other channels. But let me actually make sure that the audio is working. Give me a second. It is working. Fantastic. All right, guys. So Alfred is here. Alfred is going to be highlighting your comments in the live chat so that you get to be part of the show as well. And your comments will be here forever for anybody that watches this later. So it's not just me talking, it's your opinions as well. I'm just going to bring up the videos right away. All right, so this one probably has music, so I'm going to cut the music. This is, let me read the context of what I am about to show you. This is an Imam Hussein crowd in London. So let me make sure that I give credit to the Twitter account that we got this from, if it's a big one or not. It's a Britain First Twitter account. And the caption, again, when I read the caption, sometimes I agree with the caption, sometimes I don't agree with the caption. I'm just going to read the caption just so that we have it for reference, right? So the caption says, London has fallen. London survived the Blitz, the Great Fire, and the plague, but it was destroyed by mass immigration. Well, let me actually see what the music says, what the music is. Do you guys think this is copyrighted? Yeah, this has some tune to it, so I'm gonna cut it because this probably is copyrighted. So let's just watch what's happening here. Let me know how my audio is while I'm playing this. This is it says it's an Imam Hussein crowd, which means it's an Ashura, it's a Muharram event. This is London. This is for Imam Hussein. Yeah, it says Masiratul Imam Hussein fil London. So I know my Arabic is not good. I speak Persian, not Arabic, but I can see that it says Masiratul Imam Hussein, Imam al Hussein for London, means the path of Imam Hussein in London, right? So, guys, what do you guys think about this? Do you guys know the difference between these types of Muslims and other kinds of Muslims? Because more and more in Western European countries and North American countries, you're going to see events that are more Shia focused, and you guys need to understand the difference. And why is it, even though that the Shias are minority Muslims, why are you seeing more Shias out there with major, huge events in Western European countries? Can people tell me in the live chat why you think that is happening? Why is it? Shias, both globally and also in Western European and North American countries, they are the minority. But you're going to see a lot more mobilization relative to before. Like you Europeans and Americans and Canadians, you are used to seeing just more Sunni Muslims just going to the store, buying stuff, seeing them in the bus. But it has been a couple of years now. I remember in Vancouver when it first started happening, I recorded it, and it was a shock back then. It's now becoming more normalized. Mass events of Muslims in the streets, you don't see that as much with Sunnis as you see it with Shias. How is it that you're seeing that now more, even though they're the minority? Do people have any good ideas regarding this? Let me see what people are saying in the live chat. Yes, it's not propaganda, Gene. It's actually, it is propaganda, but it's mobilization. It's like it's being controlled and mobilized and managed and funded from Tehran. And a lot of people might think that this is not true because sometimes these events, they are many Muslims in there that they're not Iranian. It doesn't matter if they're Iranian or not. It matters if they're Shia. And as long as they're Shia, they are being used for even though if these people are not political, it doesn't matter. This is a political weaponization of Shia demographic. And this has been happening for a very long time. We Iranians know that the Iranian government does this among Shias who are not Iranian themselves, because they have been doing this in Lebanon, in Syria, in Yemen, in Afghanistan, even in India and Pakistan, and even in Nigeria, right? So this is something that they have been doing very successfully. And Iraq, the reason why the Islamic Republic of Iran controls a huge portion of the politics of Lebanon and Iraq and Yemen, and they want to do the same thing, maybe like have some more influence in Afghanistan and Pakistan. This is why Taliban is very sensitive regarding the Shia community over there. Is because this is the Islamic Republic's playbook, and has worked effectively before. This is the reason why Iraq's politics is now controlled by the Islamic Republic, and also Lebanon, right? And the fact that they have been so successful in Lebanon and Iraq and other places means that they want to do the same thing. And again, the fact that these Muslims, many of them are not political, works in their advantage, because it will be part of religious freedom to be able to spread this. And then when they have the demographic, the politics will come later. But these are UK citizens. They are a powerful voting base, and they are displaying their presence as a sign of power, solidarity, for it to be used eventually by the Islamic Republic of Iran. This is a lot more. A lot of you who are seeing this, who think like, oh my God, this is bad. You have no idea how bad this is, because you're just looking at this, and from an aesthetic perspective, like, oh my God, the streets of London, look at what has happened. I don't like looking at this. This is far beyond just an aesthetic thing. This is far beyond. Your politics is about to change if you don't fight back against this. And again, be careful how you interpret what I'm saying, fighting back against it, because part of the strategy is to provoke and for you to lash back aggressively against these people. If you become aggressive against individuals, like, we have to fight, but if you are aggressive against the individuals, that is actually part of their strategy. You're playing into their hands if you actually take aggressive stance against the individuals. We have to find a way to fight this ideologically and politically, this attack on Western countries, without being aggressive to the individuals. Because if you do, it's part of they want these people to have UK citizenship without feeling like they belong to that nation, because they want these people to feel aliens within their own country. They want to make sure that they have the Muslim identity while legally they're UK citizens, and also to convince them that they might legally belong there, but socially they don't belong there. Socially they belong with each other, and they have to take the position against the nation eventually. That will come down the road. That's a later plan. So aggressively taking a position against the individuals is not the correct strategy. Let's go to the next video here. Let me see the context for this one. Let me actually bring up the video. Let me know, Alfred, star the comments that I'm supposed to read that might agree or disagree with me. I want to see what people here. Okay, so this one has music as well. I don't think I could play this. This will get a. Let me actually go back to that one. I want you guys to get a sense of the type of music they play, because this is not something that the Sunnis even in UK or other places like. Yeah, so see, these people are calling the name of Hussein, the name of the people who were present at the Karbala war and died by the hands of Yazid's army. They're not calling upon Muhammad. They're not calling upon Allah that much. Sunnis hate this, right? This is a completely, and the problem with a lot of people in the UK and other Western countries is that they're not familiar with what they are fighting against. You need to be more familiar with the different types of ideologies. This is a different kind of Islam that many of you are used to, right? These are Hussein worshippers more than okay. So again, they would not agree with this. But again, remember, these people are more obsessed with Hussein, Ali, and Fatima than they are with Muhammad and Allah. And this is why many Sunnis hate these types of Muslims, hate the Shias, because not all of them, but many of them, right? Because they are, it's borderline or complete shirk, because they pray to Hussein, they call upon Hussein more than, or Ali or Fatima, more often than they do with Allah, right? So let me bring on this one. Like these practices are very shirky, like it's very close to shirk, which is many Sunnis would consider this to be the complete opposite of what Islam is supposed to be about, which is the concept of Tawheed, the oneness of Allah, worshiping Allah and Allah only. Like this is not within the Sunnah of the Prophet. You don't see these types of acts of worship. So that's why a lot of Sunnis hate this type of do not even consider Shias to be Muslim. That's why me as an ex-Muslim, a lot of Sunnis will come here like Armin is lying to you. In the live chat, so many of you will hear this, that Armin is lying to you. Armin is not an ex-Muslim because Armin was never a Muslim to begin with. Armin was a Shia. That's what you hear sometimes people tell you, right? So let's look at, let me see if this audio, the music of this is copyrighted or not. Yeah, this is probably copyrighted, so I'm going to just do it without the audio. Yeah. So this is it. So they are basically hitting themselves because they're supposed to be upset. So they've changed this. So look at this. This looks more like a celebratory, like I don't know, like a ritual now, right? But the whole point of hitting yourself is because at some point Hussein was killed by the army of Yazid, and these people are supposed to be upset, so upset that they're hitting themselves because of they're supposed to be sad. They're supposed to be crying. They're supposed to be hitting themselves for all of that. This is all for Hussein. This is all for Hussein. By the way, to be fair, Hussein was at the, like, I don't know if you guys are interested in the story of Karbala and why Hussein died, but Yazid was correct. Hashtag Yazid did nothing wrong. Hashtag Yazid, Hussein was, Hussein's rebellion was not justified, and Yazid was completely justified to shut this guy down, shut his rebellion down, and kill him. To be honest, I mean, he didn't want to kill him, but the event turned out in a way that he did die. But it doesn't matter because Hussein was a crazy fundamentalist, revolutionary rebel that should have been put in his place by Yazid. So Yazid, I support Yazid. Yazid's government was a secular one, just like his father Muawiyah, and Hussein was rebelling against Yazid, who was focusing on this life rather than the afterlife. Hussein wanted the government like his father Ali that was focusing on the afterlife, so it was completely justified and in the best interest of the welfare of the people that Yazid shut down Hussein and his rebellion. Right? Let me see if what you guys are saying, and before we go to the next video. So Seb is saying financed by Iran. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it is financed by Iran, but definitely supported and organized by, well, not Iran, guys. Let's actually be careful with the language that we use here. Let's say the Islamic Republic in Iran. I don't even say Islamic Republic of Iran. If I say it's a mistake, it should be the Islamic Republic in Iran. Because we try not to refer to the government in Iran as Iran because of the huge gap that exists between the people of Iran and their government. So refer to them as the Islamic Republic because it's really unfair to the Iranian people to group them with the regime, right? But the fact that you're seeing a lot more of this happening, it's pretty safe to say that this is because the Islamic Republic of Iran is behind, the Islamic Republic in Iran behind this. And we know this because they have said so themselves. They're admitting to it, and this is their plan. Let's go to the next one. Haven't they arrested a famous imam in London? Yes, we will cover that on the news with Susanna this week. So subscribe, hit the bell notification because we're going to go live. And that's not that's a Sunni guy. So that's this. Imams are usually mentioned for Shias, mention their main leaders. So imam refers to two different things. Imam is either the person that you pray behind in an Islamic prayer, and that's the imam. Both Shias and Sunnis call that imam, but imam is also something that the Shias refer to as their scholar or the main person they follow or their leader, right? So given that that guy was a Sunni, I don't think it's fair to call him an imam unless he's he's like, Sunnis call them sheikhs, ulama, I don't know. What else do they call them? Mufti. Yes, this is the vocabulary that Sunnis use. But the imam, and unless you're referring to the leading person in the prayer, the imam and ayatollah is what Shias use usually. Angie is saying, is there a law that can completely prevent Shia? I don't know what you mean. Laws like in the UK to prevent this stuff like this is happening? I don't know what your question is. Can you suggest how does the small person can fight against Islam without risking yourself? Well, no risk is required. First of all, you could be active on social media, raising awareness about what these ideas stand for and how they are threat to the Western liberal values, right? So for that, you need to be knowledgeable both about Islam, but also about Enlightenment liberal values and why they are good for society. And this is what we're trying to do. We're not just trying to expose Islam and what those ideas are and why are they bad for society, but we are also have a strong defense. We also are educating ourselves about the liberal values, about Enlightenment values, about Western values, and why are they good for society, and why do these two contradict with each other, and how is Islam a threat to the Western way of life. So just educating yourself and also learning what are the best lines and what are the best arguments to inform people. Also, weaponizing kindness to try to infiltrate into the Muslim community and convince them, or planting seeds of doubt inside of their mind. That's another thing that we could talk about more. But again, the best thing you could do is actually be subscribed to this channel and watch our show, which you're doing already. So that's great. Oh, Angie gave us a super chat. Angie's saying, do you have suggestions for the everyday person for fighting back without risking yourself? Well, I responded to you already, but thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Thank you for supporting this channel. Dee saying, seeing all this must piss off Saudi Arabia. How will they respond? Well, depends on which part of Saudi Arabia are you talking about. Are you talking about the House of Saud or the House of Wahhab? Because the House of Saud might actually enjoy this, because they might be saying to the West, like, they want the Westerners to be angry with Shias more, so that they come more, because they're like, look, it's the Shias who are the crazies. It's the Islamic Republic of Iran is a threat to Westerners. So it's not the Sunni countries, it's the Shias. It's the Islamic. So the Sunnis in Britain, they're just living their lives. It's the Islamic Republic of Iran who's weaponizing the Shias. They are a more direct threat to your politics. So you need to become allies with us against the Islamic Republic of Iran. So they might actually use this for their own agenda. All right, so let's go to the next video. Let me actually remove this one. Yes, thank you so much, Dolly. Dolly, by the way, and also thank you so much, Dolly, for preparing all these videos. Let me actually make sure I have the full context. This is Shias in Manchester, and let me actually give the credit to the Twitter account that we got this from. This is also Britain first. But let me read the caption. So again, if I read the caption of the tweets, remember, I'm not necessarily agreeing 100% with what the caption says. I'm just giving you the context. So the caption says, Manchester is heading the same way as Londonistan. The whole of England will look like this if something doesn't change. Wake up and realize you're being replaced. So that was the caption of this video. This is Manchester. So let's watch the video. These are all Shia. Look at the flags. Look at the fact that they're hitting their chest, that they're wearing black during Ashura, the flags of Hussein. It's important for everybody to understand, like, who's Hussein. You guys need to do your homework. If you're living in the UK, France, Germany, Italy, I don't know, Canada, United States, you cannot just point and complain about this. You're supposed to be soldiers defending your nation state. You need to do your homework. And you cannot act like, oh, well, they're all the same. This is just all a whole bunch of barbarians. Remember, Islam is not chaotic evil. Islam is organized evil. So if you just dismiss it as just chaotic and don't educate yourself in trying to understand what the hell is going on, you're not going to be as effective of a soldier as trying to as you could be defending your nation state. This takes time. This takes effort. This takes work from you. You need to understand. You need to educate yourself. If you can't just point and complain like, oh my God, my country is lost. That is not going to help anybody. You need to do something about it. And you cannot have this defeatist attitude like, oh, it's all too late. It's all gone. You need to, even if you're going to go down, which you're not, you are underestimating how powerful liberalism is. But even if you're going down as you think, at least go down fighting. So let's watch this other video because I have a very interesting view about this. I think you might be surprised about what I'm about to say. Oh, no, not this one, the one after. But let's see actually what this one is. Okay, so UK, this is UK police. They are serving. No, this is not it. Let me see. This is a TikTok video. Oh, this one doesn't have any caption. This is just a TikTok video. What is the account for this one? This is Murtaza Ali Shah. All right, so let's watch it. Oh, okay. So this is not the one. So this is police security for Ashura Jalous in London. Okay, so there's some people in a building. They're having an Ashura ceremony or event, and the police is there here to keep the peace. So for people who don't know what Ashura is like the memorial dates for the events, the day that Hussein was killed by the army of Yazid. Hussein is like the most important person among Shia Muslims, more important than Muhammad. Again, they would not admit this. If you go ask a Shia, like, who's more important, Muhammad, Allah, or Hussein, they will say, obviously, Allah is the most important. Muhammad is more important after that, and Hussein is less important than that. But they be lying. Okay, Hussein is more important to Shias than Muhammad and Allah. You could see in their events. You could see and how they talk about Hussein, Ali, and Fatima. So Hussein, Ali, and Fatima is actually more important to them than Muhammad and Allah, even though they would never admit that. So an Ashura is the day, the annual event for the memory of the day that Hussein was martyred. Okay, so Hussein for Shias act like Jesus for Christians, because Hussein died for your sins, basically. He died so that Islam could survive, right? So this is Ashura. Right here. I don't want the police and... So look at all this stuff. You see this? If I was a Sunni, I would be like, what the hell are you doing? This looks like idol worship to me, you know? They're like, what is this? If I was like a very religious Sunni, I would be like, how do you even call yourself a Muslim? What are this stuff? This is the stuff that the Qurayshis had. Like, are you worshiping Allah? This looks like you're building a shrine. You're building a mini shrine in your house. Like, what are you doing? This is not Islam. If I was a religious Sunni, that's what I would be saying. So this is Wait, guys, doesn't this look like the church that we had a show on that turned into a mosque? This looks exactly like the church that we covered in one of our streams before, that the Muslims turned into a mosque. I'm not sure if this is the same one, but it looks like it. Yeah. All right. Okay, so the next video is something that I wanted to talk about a lot. So let's look at this one, right? So let me remove this videos and then watch this one. Let me actually read the context for this one. Okay, so this is the same. This is the UK police serving the people in Ashura. But here you see something a little bit different. Let me see what the account for this one is TY. Oh, TY T underline Y underline 2 underline 6. Okay. So this guy has some videos. He takes some pictures of himself, the account holder, but also has some videos of what's happening during Ashura. Okay, so this is the music. So I'm going to just remove the song because I'm probably going to get copyrighted. You can see the text says the police khadama, doing khidmat, doing serving in Arabain of Imam Hussein, right? So this is the police. You can see the London police. He's giving food and serving the people in the ceremony, in this event, the Muslims who are there for remembering Hussein. The police is actually coming here and giving them food. So like just going around and giving the people water and food. Okay, so this is the account holder taking a picture with the police, taking a picture with the imam. These are people there. This is the account holder. I don't know why he was. Okay, so this is like the people acting like they're Hussein. So this is like the Hussein, somebody, an actor acting like Hussein. And this is himself again with the people there. Okay, so this guy is supposed to be like Hussein, right? And the imam up there giving a speech to the people there. And this is the account holder again himself. I think the imam must be famous. That's why he's keep posting a picture of himself. But again, so this part where the police is actually giving the people food and drinks there, right? So I'm not actually opposed to this, right? I am, because the alternative, right? The alternative is, because I want to fight the spread of Islam. But if you think fighting the spread of Islam involves you not being kind to, I'm in favor of kindness. And not only in favor of kindness, I'm also in favor of weaponizing kindness. I want to see not just this type of kindness. I want to see weaponizing kindness in a way that you could get these people out of there. And we could talk strategies in other streams, but kindness is a very powerful weapon. If you try to make these people like this, is at one side you see the state, the police represents the state, and the other side you see the spread of Islam. If that connection is gone, you are going to make these people like, what is the alternative? The alternative would be for these people to feel more, because these people are UK citizens. If you think you could deport these people, that's never going to happen, right? But the alternative is for these people to be legally UK citizens, but isolated, demonized, and ostracized, and segmented away from the rest of society, where they become more and more Muslim and less UK citizens. The way to fight Islam is to make these people more UK citizens, more identify as UK citizens, and less with Muslims. And you're not going to be able to do that if you isolate them, if you separate them from the rest of society. So as much as I'm not against this, however, I do think that the most effective way of weaponizing kindness is not just this, but in other, I want to see them using kindness as a pool away from these communities to more secular activities. So I'm not against this, what's happening here. I think it's important to make these people feel like this country is not against them because they're UK citizens. If you make them feel like this country is against them, they are going to go more and more deeper into the Muslim community. A Muslim community does not identify as being part of this country. And that's what they want. These events are partly meant to provoke for you to have that reaction, for these people who have UK citizenship to feel like they are at war with the country that they live in. And that is on purpose by the mullahs in Tehran. Because that's how you turn these people into just people who are having religious activities to actual soldiers for the imams in Tehran. And you don't want that. You don't want to isolate and demonize these people because they will become more effective at being against your nation state if you do that. Don't fall for that trap. It's a trap. It's a trick, right? You actually need to fight against that. You need to fight Islam. This is the thing that a lot of people don't understand. You need to fight Islam without fighting Muslims. And a lot of people cannot tell the difference, and they end up fighting Muslims, which is the best way to promote Islam. Islam is a virus, that is a meme that sacrifices the Muslim for the spread of itself. You should be kind to Muslims to defeat Islam. But again, more than this, like you need to have secular events, national events where, who does this perfectly? Tommy Robinson welcomes Muslims to events that are about defending the nation state, about celebrating the patriotic spirit and nationalism. So if you think that I'm being too naive and weak, you are being naive, because kindness is actually a very powerful weapon that you should not ignore. Let me know if you disagree with that. But let me actually bring up the next video. So yeah, so it's like an Arab state. You Shias are most like you guys are your information is very low. Like this, look at this. Look at this comment. This no longer looks like London, but like an Arab state. You guys most Arab states do not look like this. Most Arab states are not. This is exactly the opposite of what Arab states look like, because this is a Shia ceremony. This looks more like Iran, and if Arab states, maybe like Iraq, maybe. But guys, this is maybe say a Shia Islamic state or something like that. Most Arab states would be terrified to see something like this happening in their country, because this is a Shia ceremony. You guys need to like understand what we're dealing here. If you do not understand your ideological enemy, you're going to be very ineffective at fighting it. Let me actually bring up the next the rest of the videos. So let me actually. Okay, look, what is this one? This is in London again. So this is a Muslim preacher in the UK who's advising Muslims for protecting Muslim criminals from their kafir police. Wow. So this is in London. Let me see what account this is. This is Sapphire. I know this account. She follows me. I follow her. Right. So this is in London. Islamic preacher Abu Walid explains how Muslims in the UK must cover up for and protect Muslim criminals who are being chased and investigated by the kafir. Kafir means non-Muslim, infidel, by the kafir non-Muslim law enforcement for committing crimes. This is a religious duty and an obligation according to Islam. Okay, so now we're going to Sunni territory. This is Sunni territory. You're not going to see those Ashura events or stuff like that. But this is, I'm not going to act like the Sunni, mind virus is not as a problem. Some people might think like I'm more anti-Shia because I come from a Shia background. But no, look at this. This is also this is how this is a threat to your nation state. By the way, Dali also has prepared for me, thank you so much, Dali, the Quranic verses and the hadiths to show that what this man is saying is not like, because a lot of people might say like, Armin, this is just a crazy radical religious teacher. Why are you making it acting like this is Islam, right? This is a trick that some of you ex-Muslims do. Well, I will show you that this is actually Islam. So let's listen to him and then show you the Quranic verses and the hadiths that actually shows that this man is, what he's saying is in line with Islamic teaching.
And this is why one of the Salaf, they used to say that the real good friend, you'll know him at the time of hardship. Don't tell me aki now, and then when the hard time comes, when the police come to arrest me, you're the first one to hand me over to the kuffar. Say, yeah, he's here, he's hiding within the back. You know what I mean? The mu'alat, the correct mu'alat with the believer would be when the police come, I say, yeah, he went that way over there. And then you tell him, yeah, go on, abscond, go run away, go over there. You know what I mean? Even though that's illegal, but still, you ally with the believers. I never ever ally.
Even though that's illegal. Guys, this is so important because we're talking about the rule of law. And a lot of people don't understand when it comes to protecting your nation state, how important it is for you to be supporting the rule of law. Because every different value, every different Enlightenment value that we defend, like free speech, like secularism, like separations of power, right? All of that, every single one of them is a key. We have proven data to show why that's essential for keeping a nation state alive and prosperous. But one of the most important ones that keeps this all together and makes this all possible is the rule of law. And if you bring a population, if you have a rising demographic that does not respect that because it believes in a different law, a godly law above a man-made law that you should be loyal to, if that attitude changes, if that attitude increases in your nation state, then the foundations of your nation state is being attacked and threatened. And this is what this man is advocating, for you to do something illegal because you have to be loyal to a different set of laws. So if somebody is a criminal Muslim, the police is coming for him, you should do something illegal. You should lie to the police to protect your fellow Muslim. And I will show you the Quranic verse and hadith regarding this.
With the kuffar, and never ever hand over a Muslim to the kafir. Let the kafir go to hell.
Never ever hand over a Muslim to a kafir. Kafir means like us, infidels, non-Muslims. So never ever, meaning even if they're like a terrorist, even if they're ISIS or Al-Qaeda, never ever hand over a Muslim to the police, to the kafirs.
You want to charge me for 8 years or 20 years? They go bring the porridge.
Yeah. If I'm doing something illegal, so be it. If you want to charge me, put me to jail, it's fine, as long as I'm being loyal to Islam. Jesus. YouTube, I'm not saying any of this. This is what this guy is saying. I'm exposing him.
Put me behind Belmarsh, do whatever you want. I never ally with the kuffar. Number 4, the meaning of al-wala is al-himaya, protection. Protection from what? From any kafir. I mentioned the Salaf, I've got the quotation here now. Imam al-Shafi, rahmahullah, he said, the good friend is the one who will help you in the time of hardship. So again, obviously we mentioned this already, but at the time of hardship you'll help him. So when you know your brother is about to be raided, you respond to him. If you know some Muslim's his house has been knocked down by those filthy kuffar, by the Metropolitan Police, turn up at his door, do a protest, do some type of demonstration, support him, help him. You know what I mean? Don't just say there and say, oh, his problem is not my problem at the end of the day, innit? And this is the problem that we have. We have this ana, this individualistic mentality nowadays. So long
ana means me. Okay, so it's like, oh, just me. It's like, it's anti-individualism.
This ana, this individualistic mentality nowadays. So long as it's not my problem, so long as I haven't been arrested, then who cares? There was a sister in this area who was arrested. Her house was raided just off the main high street a couple of years ago, and she was arrested for glorifying terrorism. She lived 2 roads away from the masjid. Masjid didn't say a word. You know what the Imam is like, coconut Muslim. He comes on top of the minbar. We need to make dua for Auntie Shana.
So coconut Muslim. So look at this. It's coconut Muslim. Coconut Muslim, it means like you're brown on the from outside, but you're white inside, like a coconut, right? Which shows how they say like they're not being racist. Like what about white Muslims? Like, why are you making this about skin color? So basically, a coconut Muslim is that he is a person who looks like a Muslim, acts like a Muslim, but internally he has accepted the white man's value. They call me a coconut because I am Iranian, but I, for example, I believe in Western liberal Enlightenment values. So outside, I'm Iranian, but inside I have accepted Western liberal values, which is the white man's values. Look how they basically give skin colors to ideas. Okay, so I would be a coconut according to these people, right? So listen to this again.
Years ago, and she was arrested for glorifying terrorism. She lived 2 roads away from the masjid. Masjid didn't say a word.
Masjid is the mosque.
You know what the Imam is like, coconut Muslim. He comes on top of the mimbar. We need to make dua for Auntie Shana. She broke a big toe. She can't cook curry. And Uncle Rafiq, you know, his license is about to be revoked. And he ain't got a driving license. He can't do his cab business. SubhanAllah. You cannot even mention the word Afghanistan. You cannot even mention the Iraq. You can't even talk about that.
He's saying like these imams are so individualistic. They're concerned about people's individual problems rather than, things that are more important to the ummah, to the Muslim community, to politics.
What kind of imam is this? This type of imam.
What kind of imam is this? Your coconut imam. Your coconut imam, because you're talking about individual stuff and your individualism. You have to talk about the issues that are affecting the ummah, the community, the collective, not the individual.
He doesn't even deserve to be imam.
Yeah, Josh is saying coconut Muslim sounds insanely racist. Yeah, exactly. These are the same people who say like, oh yeah, Islam is for all people, for white people, brown people, black people, purple people, but now they're using like skin color as a way to refer to Muslims who do not accept their values.
Of a brothel, let alone to be imam of the Muslims. You know what I mean? The dog is better than these type of imams.
Wow, a dog is better than this type of imam. Like these people are anti-dog as well. By the way, something that should kill Islam is the fact that they're anti-dog. People love dogs. I don't even know. Like, okay, so I'm surprised Islam has any chance in Western countries, given that it's pro-child abuse, given, child RAPE, given that it's pro-slavery, given that it's pro so many things. But all of those things, like, yeah, I'm surprised. Like, how do people know this? Muhammad had sex with like minor, and still people like, okay, let's become Muslim. But there's one thing that I was like, okay, this should just destroy Islam. The anti-dog position. I mean, to be pro-violence and child RAPE and slavery is one thing, but to be anti-dog, that's a red line that Western society should not be able to tolerate. I mean, come on.
Afghanistan. You cannot even mention the Iraq. You can't even talk about that. What kind of imam is this? This type of imam, he doesn't even deserve to be imam of a brothel, let alone.
He doesn't deserve to be the imam of a brothel.
To be imam of the Muslims. You know what I mean? The dog is better than these type of imams. At least the dog is loyal. The dog, he has loyalty in it. Yeah? Sit down. This person, you tell him to obey Allah. He doesn't want to obey Allah. He wants to completely sell out the Muslims.
All right, so actually let's look at the fact that what this guy is saying is pretty much in line with Islamic teaching, right? So, and we have revealed to you, this is Quran, let me see, chapter 5, verse 48. So this is God talking to Muhammad. By the way, most of Quran is basically God talking to Muhammad, and we're just like sitting there watching them talk, right? It's like you're listening in on a conversation. This is how you should read the Quran. So this is Allah talking to Muhammad saying, and we have revealed to you, O Muhammad, the book, meaning the Quran, in truth confirming that which preceded it of the scripture and as a criterion over it. So judge between them by what Allah has revealed, and do not follow their inclinations away from what has come to you of the truth. To each of you we prescribe. So this is basically saying the law and judgment should be Allah's law and judgment, right? To each of you we prescribe a law and a method. So this is God saying that we given you all the people their own laws. Had Allah willed, he would have made you one nation united, but he intended to test you in what he has given you. So yeah, so this is basically God saying that the law should be my law. But let me see, I wanted to find the Quranic verse that is talking about sealing people, like the screening thing. Like, let me see if I could find that one. And we have received, oh yeah, it's actually here, isn't it? Is it in here? No, it's not here. Give me a second. Hold on. Oh no, that's a hadith, isn't it? Hold on. Give me a second. because we have a. Oh, there we go. I found it. Okay, so this is a hadith, not a Quranic verse. Sorry. So this one, this is the one I wanted to show you. Okay, so this is a Sahih Bukhari, which is a hadith that is considered authentic among all four Islamic Sunni schools of thought. So nobody can dismiss this as part of Islam. And this is a saying by Prophet Muhammad, right? So let's look at this. This is exactly what that guy was referring to. So you know what he's saying is part of Islam. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a Muslim is the brother of another Muslim, so he should not oppress him, nor should he hand him over to an oppressor. See, this is exactly what that guy was saying. He's referring to Islamic hadith. He wasn't just making stuff up, okay? Whoever fulfilled the needs of his brother, Allah will fulfill his needs. Whoever brought his Muslim brother out of discomfort, Allah will bring him out of discomforts of the day of resurrection. And whoever screened, so screened here, well, let me read it and then I'll tell you what it means. And whoever screened a Muslim, Allah will screen him on the day of resurrection. So let me actually tell you what the interpretation of this is. In this context, screen refers to concealing or protecting a Muslim's faults or shortcomings. So even if it is a fault, it means that if a person covers or does not reveal the faults or sins of another Muslim, Allah will in turn cover or conceal their faults on the day of judgment. This concept emphasizes the importance of maintaining dignity and honor. So basically, do not rat out. Do not rat out your fellow Muslim brothers or sisters. So you can see this was in line with an Islamic hadith. Okay, so let me actually go get the last video because you need to see this. How much time do we have? Oh, we have time. No. We have actually, oh my God, we have 3 videos. So actually, let me go through these fast. Because I have something by Sadiq Khan I want to show. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it. If not, we have to do it on another stream. So what is this? This is Muslim preacher calling for abolition of democracy and secularism. So you saw the first one that I showed you was about the rule of law. I wanted to show you that these are British Muslims, UK Muslim, British Islamic scholar. But this is from the same account that I mentioned before. So the caption of this one says, British Islamic scholar Anjem Qadri, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it, calls for the abolition of secular democracy and the implementation of Islamic Sharia law in the United Kingdom. The implementation of Sharia will be facilitated by Muslims attaining positions of power and authority in Britain, he says. So let's listen to what he has to say and pay attention to the live chat as well.
Britain is Darul Harb because they are, anathema to...
Okay, so Britain is Darul Harb. Darul Harb means the house of war. So Islam separates the entirety of the planet into 2 parts, Darul Islam and Darul Harb. Darul Islam is wherever Islam is ruling, and Darul Harb means the house of war is wherever Islam has not dominated. And they call it house of war because you are at war with everywhere on the planet that is not Islam has not dominated. So that's why he's saying that UK is the house of war. So we are at war with the UK. He says that as a UK citizen. So listen to this.
Britain is Darul Harb because they are, anathema to God's law. They're not implementing it. They're violating His sanctity, and therefore this is war against Allah and His Messenger. We are obliged as Muslims to take the authority away from the people who have it and implement the Sharia. Now, I hope that can come in a very peaceful way. I hope that we can do that in a way, where there's no bloodshed. The Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that if the Muslims have authority and they have the ability to remove oppression, they must remove the oppression. So we believe man-made law is oppression because they are implementing non-Islamic law, violating their own sanctity. So if we are in a position of power and authority, we are obliged to take that authority, with the minimum force and to implement the Sharia, certainly. So this will be the case one day in Britain.
And when you talk about jihad, you're not talking about spiritual striving. You're talking about military jihad?
No, I think there are two types of jihad in which people are engaging in today.
So before we get to this part, so you understand, he says that he hopes that they could take over UK peacefully, right? He says he hopes. So whatever it takes, they have to take over the UK and make it fully Islamic. If it's the peaceful way, okay, so be it. Let's do it the peaceful way. It will be less costly, right? So that means like spreading Islam, convincing people to become Muslim, changing the demographic, bringing migration, vote in a different way that have Islamic Islam enter the politics, right? So, however, that's what he hopes for. But at the end of the day, if that's not possible, UK has to become Islamic. So if nothing else works, then we will use violence, and we don't wish to use violence, but one way or another, UK has to become Islamic. If there is no peaceful way, then we will choose the violent way. So that's that's how you should understand what he's saying.
One day in Britain.
And when you talk about jihad, you're not talking about spiritual striving. You're talking about military jihad.
No, I think there are two types of jihad in which people are engaging in today. One is the jihad of the word, and the other is jihad of the sword. So in Britain, we are.
So jihad of the word and the jihad of the sword. So technically, if you refer to hadith, he's right. There is also jihad of the word, but the Quran itself, every time the Quran mentions jihad, every single reference of it is the jihad of the sword. It's in the hadith that you see the jihad of the word as well.
Engage in the jihad of the word, and it's as important.
Somebody's saying Islam has no place in Europe. I disagree with you. Okay, Islam has no place on the planet. Do not get Islam just out of the West. Islam should be eliminated everywhere. Everywhere. Islam does not belong to Iran. Islam does not belong in Pakistan. Islam doesn't belong in Saudi Arabia. Islam doesn't belong into Bangladesh, Indonesia, Malaysia, Egypt. Islam does not belong anywhere. Why should we just save Europe and North America? We should be fighting to save the goddamn planet.
To remove the ideological foundation, and if you like, the pillars of Western civilization, like democracy and freedom and secularism, and to expose them, and to bring back people to worshipping the one true Lord, which is Allah, as much as it is important to remove the physical obstacles, which is the non-Islamic regimes, the occupying forces, the Republican Guard, which support those leaders in our own countries.
What do you think the timetable is for implementing Sharia in Great Britain? Do you feel like you're getting close?
I would point towards Tunisia and Egypt and these countries to show you how quickly things can change. It could be in a year or 5 years where people could be rejecting the kind of liberal democracy. They're unhappy because the basic needs are not being met. They're looking for alternatives, and revolutions happen very quickly. So I don't know how quickly the Sharia will come. Perhaps in 5 years, perhaps in 10 years. Demographically speaking, even within the next 15 or 20 years, Islam could be the major religion of countries like Britain and Belgium and France and these other European nations, because of the rate at which people are reverting to Islam, the number of.
All right, so what he's saying there is actually quite true, okay? Because you have no idea how unbelievable it was for Iran to have an Islamic revolution just a couple of years before it happened, right? So things like this can happen. Even if it's unlikely, you should be taking this threat very, very, very seriously. Okay, so let me actually show you the Quranic verses that supports all of the things. That should I do that, or do you guys want to see more videos? Let me actually just go read a couple of Quranic verses and hadith, 2 Quranic verses and hadith before I go show you the next video, right? So this is Quran chapter 5 verse 51. Says, "O you who have believed, do not take the Jews and Christians as allies. They are in fact allies of one another." Oh, so this refers to the previous video that I showed you. Sorry, Dolly, I'm making this hard for you because now you have to cut these and put them in the right place. So it said, "O you who have believed, do not take the Jews and Christians as your allies. They are in fact allies of one another. And whoever is an ally to them among you, then indeed he is one of them. Indeed, Allah guides not the wrongdoing people. So this is basically telling Muslims to not be friends with Jews and Christians, just be friends with themselves. So this relates to the previous video I showed you. Let's go to this one. This is Quran, chapter 4, verse 59, saying, "O you who have believed, obey Allah and obey the messenger and those in authority among you. And if you disagree over anything, refer to Allah and the messenger if you should believe in Allah and the last day." So basically, these are many Quranic verses like this that shows that the rule of law should be the rule of Allah. Man-made law is not what you're supposed to be following. These verses in the Quran is basically a complete threat and attack on democracy, right? And also here's another one showing the same thing in the Hadith. This is again Sahih Bukhari. I hope people who follow this channel by now know every time I say Sahih Bukhari or Sahih Muslim, this makes the Hadith Sahih or authentic and a fundamental part of Islam and an inseparable part of Islam. Every time I say Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, that's what this means. So I hope you know that by now, right? So this one is the something by whenever it says Allah Messenger, that means Muhammad. Okay, so Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi said, "Whoever obeys me obeys Allah, and whoever disobeys me disobeys Allah." Wow! And whoever obeys their ruler I appoint obeys me, and whoever disobeys him disobeys me. So basically, again, another confirmation that everything is supposed to be according to Islam, and Muhammad is kind of like God, because if you follow him, you're following God, right? Which is actually sounds a little bit shirky to me. You know, I know a lot of Sunnis will make fun of that and say like that's not shirky at all, but it does seem a little bit shirky to me when you say that. Like, following me means following Allah. It's a bit shirky, just a tiny bit shirky. Okay, we won't be that picky. All right, so let's look at this. What's the context for this one? Oh, so this one is Labbaik Ya Hussein. Sunnis should get offended over this. If you are not, if you're a Sunni and people Shias in the street saying Labbaik Ya Hussein doesn't offend you, it's because you are not properly Sunni. Okay, so let's listen to what these people have to say. Actually, let's listen to this. So Labbaik Ya Hussein kind of means like, hey Hussein, I'm speaking Persian now. Oh Hussein, I'm here at your service, kind of like that. You know, I'm present. Like you could count on me, Hussein, right? So calling upon Hussein is dead, right? Given that Hussein is dead, and these people are calling upon him, is very shirky, because it's kind of like dead person worship. This is the exact problem many Protestants have with Catholics, because Catholics call upon their saints and refer to their saints instead of to Jesus himself. And Protestants kind of feel like, yeah, this is Christianity. We're supposed to go to Jesus directly. Who are these saints? Why do you have these relics or bones? This is idol worship of your saints. Everything should be about Jesus. So Sunnis look at Shias and they have the same problem. Like, why are you calling upon dead people? You should be calling upon Allah. This is like a prayer to a dead person, right? So they are saying Labbaik Ya Hussein. So listen. Hussein! Labbaik Ya Hussein! By the way, this is, where is this? This is London. This is in London. Okay. Hussein! Labbaik Ya Hussein! Labbaik Ya Hussein! Labbaik Ya Hussein! Labbaik Ya Hussein! Keeps going. So this is going to this is gonna get bigger. Like they're gonna make this more festive and louder as years go by.
Something in the book.
Oh, so that flag the flag that girl is holding, it says Ya Hussein. Okay, so you see how Hussein is such a fundamental part of Shia Islam. Oh, look at that. That's very shirky to me. Like, you don't see that many signs saying Muhammad or Allah. It says Hussein. And also, look at that thing. That looks like that looks very shirky to me. If I was a Sunni right now, I would be like, what the hell are you guys doing? This is very low energy compared to the other crowd that we saw. They're like, yeah, Hussein, yeah, Hussein. Like, what's like, Hussein, 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 Hussein. Like, you're like, give me some energy. What is this? Oh, look at that little boy. That's the energy I'm talking. Like, posing, like, yeah, Labaik, yeah, Hussein. Look at what these other people are doing. Like, that kid has the energy. I should show you some of the Hussein techno, ceremonies from Iran. Hussein, 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 Hussein. Like, I should show you that. It's pretty good. Anyways, let's go to Sadiq Khan and see what he has to say. So, yeah, okay. So, what is this? What is this? This is Sadiq Khan says that we need more migration. More migration. Okay, so let's listen to this. So, for people who don't know this, the mayor of London. Let's see what the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has to say. Okay, so mayor of London, we need more immigration. Let's listen to this.
The government, the Conservative government, wants to reduce immigration. Do you think you need fewer immigrants or more immigrants in London?
I've no hesitation at all in saying we need more migrants in London. And let me explain why. So I'm not equivocating. It's really important for me to say this why. Park the social benefits to our city from migration. Park the cultural benefits to our city from migration. I've spent this morning with some of our city's leading business people who create jobs, wealth and prosperity. They've got a skills shortage and a labour shortage, right? We've got a pipeline of training up Londoners for future-proof jobs. Even if every single Londoner who's currently not working was to be trained up to do these jobs, we still have massive number of vacancies, record numbers of vacancies in the health sector, in social care sector, in hospitality, in tech, and so forth. And so we need to have a sensible migration policy. And my point to the government is this: if you're worried about migration because it's unpopular in certain parts of the country, if you think you don't need it, and if other parts of the country either don't want it for political reasons or don't think they need it, I respect that. Half of our builders are above the age of 55. And so we're trying to train up more builders. We've lost almost half of our EU-born builders in the last 7 years.
So Brexit's been a disaster from that point of view, has it?
It's a combination of the extreme hard Brexit on top of Brexit, but also the well-reported issues about low birth rates and so forth, and the pipeline of people coming into the economy and so forth. So we need migration, sensible migration.
Okay, sensible migration. Well, this is what you're having right now is not sensible migration, right? So actually, he's making two arguments. One is cultural, and the other one is economic, right? So, guys, be careful when we're talking about culture. Culture refers to two different things that are so different from each other that they shouldn't even be having the same word. Like, why are we using the same word for these two different things? So, culture either refers to, I don't know, one category, let's say category A and category B. The category A are things like dance, food, fashion, architecture, poetry, stuff like that, especially food, music, right? That's category A because that's one category of a culture. There's a category B that for some reason we also call that culture, and that is your values, your principles, your way of life, like your moral structure, your ethical standards, And we also call that culture, right? So if wife beating okay or not? Is modesty culture okay or not? For example, is secularism okay or not? That's category B. Your values. For some reason, we also, and these are so separate from each other, so different from each other. When it comes to category A, there is not really a value judgment that we could make on them. It's basically based on taste. And the more variety of that, the better, because, you know, it's good. We could choose, like, I like this dance, I like that food, you know, that is okay. As much as you want to have that, you cannot say this is good, this is bad. Every individual could choose that based on their own taste. But for the second category, the B one, there is an objective way to say some cultures are inferior to other cultures. And for category B, we could say that some cultures should be eliminated. For category A, I cannot say some cultures should be eliminated. Why would I have a problem with more varieties of dance or food? The more the merrier. More people have different tastes. I could choose. We could have more choices. But category B, some cultures are inferior, and some cultures are so inferior that we should try to eliminate them in category B, right? So when he's making the cultural argument, you should not bring migrants from societies with inferior culture, because that's going to be not all culture is good. Some cultures are a threat to your way of life. With regards to the economic argument, let me actually bring you some stats, okay? Let me go with this one first. Yes. Research shows that EEA migrants, like European Economic Area migrants, right? This has been, by the way, this has been subject to extensive research, and studies indicate that there are significant differences between the contributions of EEA, means European Economic Area migrants, and non-EEA migrants to the UK economy. So research shows that EEA migrants tend to contribute more positively to the UK economy compared to non-EEA migrants. For instance, a report by the UK government indicates that EEA migrants contribute approximately 50% more in income tax and national insurance contributions than non-EEA migrants. This trend is attributed to higher wages and employment rates among EEA migrants. And then this is an important part, because he says that economically this is the beneficial for the UK. Listen to this. Negative net fiscal balance for non-EEA migrants. In contrast, studies have found that non-EEA, just when I say non-EEA, just read that as non-European. Non-European migrants have a negative net fiscal means like financially, okay, like money-wise. Net fiscal contribution similar to that of native population. So relative to the native population, they actually have a negative net fiscal contribution. This suggests that on average, non-European migrants may rely more on public services than they contribute through taxes. I will read that again one more time. This suggests that on average, non-EEA, meaning non-European migrants, may rely more on public services than they contribute through taxes. And again, these are based on studies. This is based on research. We're not just making this stuff up. So neither the cultural argument does not hold, and the economic argument doesn't hold either. I used to think actually the economic argument is true, but it's not worth it. I used to think like migration is always a net positive to the economy, but the cultural cost is so high that long-term down the road, it will also have a negative economic cost. Now I'm learning that actually I was wrong. Even from the economic perspective, it doesn't make sense, even in the short term. Anyways, guys, we are using, when I come here and I show you how dangerous all of this is, I'm not just doing so many other channels are like, oh my God, look, Islam is coming. Be very afraid. I'm actually showing you how this is a threat. I give you the receipts. I show you the verses and the hadith, the Quranic revelation, so-called revelation, and the hadith to show how this is backed up by Islam. This is not just some Muslims saying things, I'm making it up. If somebody comes and says that this is good for society, I give you data, I give you the research to back this up, to show you that this is wrong. Here we are doing this very effectively. This channel deserves to grow. I'm also, we are trying to fight Islam without actually promoting bigotry. We're weaponizing kindness. Nobody could accuse us of being bigoted against Muslims when we advocate weaponizing kindness against Muslims on this channel. This is a very effective channel against the Islamic threat, and you need to tell more people to come subscribe to Atheist Republic and like the stream, and also make sure you leave a comment because that also boosts the algorithm. Let me actually read some comments. Mac is saying, who wants the Sharia implemented, the Sunni or the Shia? Well, the leaders of both sides want it, right? The main difference is that, so Sharia means Islamic law. So the Sunnis think the people, the legal structure that needs to uphold Sharia law is supposed to be under a caliphate. However, the Shias think that the upholding of Sharia among the Ummah, meaning the Muslim community, needs to be under an imamate. So a caliphate or an imamate. The structure, the legal structure, and the authority that upholds that is different, but they both want Sharia. So, but anyway, many Shias think that should not happen until the Mahdi comes. But the Islamic Republic in Iran has changed all of that. They want it now. Many Shias now want it now, before the Mahdi comes. Rosie is saying, have you seen that Tommy Robinson is doing in London? What Tommy Robinson is doing in London right now? Huge event in, I always have a hard time pronouncing this, Trafalgar Square. I've been there, by the way. Reclaiming the UK. I saw some people mentioning it. Let me know if you want me to cover that in the comment section. If I see a lot of comments saying that Armin, you should cover that, I will cover that, okay? In another stream. Alexander is saying, do you have a video about the events after Mo's death? We do in Persian on our Persian channel, Jomhuriye Bi Khodayan for Iranians. I don't know if there's going to be this much of an interest for that level of detail on this channel, on the English channel. Sunni Chetri is saying there are 40, 50 Islamic countries in the world. Why do European countries allow Muslims seeking refugees? 99.9% terrorists in the world are Muslims, and most of them are radicals. Why do they allow it? Because, first of all, I don't know if your numbers are accurate, so I'm not going to go check that right now, but I just don't think your numbers are accurate. I do agree that most terrorism in the world are Islamic in nature. And I know some people were like, no, Armin, look, I have the stats. Actually, the far right is more responsible for more terrorism than Muslims. And that's because you're an American who's saying this, probably, who's just looking at American stats. And like many other Americans, you think that America is the entirety of the planet. You're just looking at the reports that are just focusing on the US, right? But no, globally, most terrorism is done by Muslims. That's true. Why do they allow it? Is because they underestimated the cultural impact of just allowing mass migration from countries with inferior values. Okay, so Purple Pulp is saying Armin's idea of saving a drowning ship is so drowning ship is to extract water with a teaspoon. Oh, so you're talking about my analogy. Why are you highlighting this? People don't know what my analogy from the previous stream was. I'm not going to go back and explaining it. However, Armin, I thought most Iranians in the West weren't religious, but many of these are Iranians. Yeah, that's not a contradiction. Most Iranians are not religious, but many of these are Iranians. Yeah, so how is that a contradiction? A minority of a law. The law of large numbers. Please understand that a small percentage of a large number will still be a large number. You could still be a minority, but a huge number. How is that a contradiction? Even though religious Iranians are a minority of the population, that doesn't make them a small number of people. 10% Iranians are how many? Like almost 90 million people. So 10% of that, that's like 9 million extremely religious Iranians. India will never be an Islamic country. We don't allow nonsense, no matter what so-called human rights organizations say. Well, India is a stronger country because it has better human rights than its neighbor Pakistan. So I don't know what you're talking about. You could fight Islam without violating human rights. In fact, the best way to fight Islam is to use human rights against Islam, not to violate human rights. Skullface is saying, "How do you eliminate it?" Well, I mean, I have to go, but the first step is to subscribe to Atheist Republic on YouTube. How about that? Maybe if I was the beginning of the show, I would go more in depth. Kelvin is saying the only ideology that should exist is pan-liberalism. Well, actually, liberalism would disagree with you. The only ideology that should exist is pan-liberalism. Yeah, and liberalism would be asking for a variety of ideology. Liberalism itself promotes having variety of ideologies in a society that compete with each other. Liberalism is the idea that letting ideas compete with each other in a free and fair way will get the best ideas surviving and dominating more than others. So maybe understand liberal values before you defend them. Sorry. Okay, guys, again, I have to go to get ready for my Persian show. Again, the name of the Persian channel is Jamhuriye Bi Khodayan. If you know Persian, you could search for it and come there and subscribe there as well. That one is mostly for an Iranian audience, mostly from Iran. But this show is over. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell notification, make sure you leave a comment after the show is over, and also please suggest this channel, Atheist Republic on YouTube, to your friends and to your enemies, and also to strangers, just random strangers. Just you met a person for the very you're on a date, you're with a cute girl, you want to talk to her, just break the ice, like, hey, Atheist Republic on YouTube. It probably is going to ruin the date, but it doesn't matter because you help the channel. Okay, just tell people Atheist Republic on YouTube. Just do that. Okay, thank you so much, and bye. Till next stream.